Hi everyone, this is Tom here, and this is the first episode of a series, hopefully if you guys like it, which will be called ACM Diaries, and I'll do a brief intro on it. For those who don't know, ACM is an Academy of Contemporary Music based in Guildford in the UK, and I'm currently a degree student there for guitar. And the series will be covering aspects of the guitar playing, anything really from licks to lessons to practice stuff, songs, whatever. And it's called ACM Diaries just because I'm a student there, so it's all from a student point of view that wants to explain to other people what I've just picked up pretty much, and how I organize my studies and all sorts of guitar playing time. So that's it. It's from a student point of view, to students, to anyone who wants to learn guitar, and that's the reason for the name pretty much. And so let's get going. Today's first episode is going to be covering an aspect of practice, and it's going to be covering how to practice effectively a guitar technique of your choice. I've been doing this for a while, for like 2 months now, with the technique of alternate picking. So every exercise that I will refer to will be an alternate picking exercise. And yeah, so I've developed a kind of practice plan for myself, and I want to share with you guys what I've come up, because I've been finding it really effectively. So I hope it can be of some help to some of you. And alright, so you should do a stepwise thing when you pretty much prepare this practice plan. The first thing you should do is research the technique as much as you can. And by research I mean really dig into the technique, look at every aspect of it, like every single little aspect that you have to be aware of, to be as free as you want, as you can, while using that technique. And for example, for alternate picking, I found out that I've divided my time, my studying time, in several different sections. And you should do it too, I think, for the technique of your choice. So you build up these sections. For alternate picking, I've been doing like the section of one string, like picking on one string, picking on 2 strings, alternate picking including hammer-ons and pull-offs, which will alter a bit the alternate picking strict pattern of down, up, inside and outside picking, which means picking, as the name says, inside, between, like keeping the pick between the strings rather than like hovering outside of 2 strings. And last section will be triplet playing, so like 3 note per string patterns. And so once you've done these like sections of your technique of your choice, then you should come up, I came up with 4 or 5 exercises to assign to each section. And 4 or 5 exercises, of course, that rely like heavily on that particular section. So for one string you should look at, I don't know, maybe ascending and descending scales on the same string, or stuff like that really. And to come up with exercises, well, you have a different array of things you can do. The first things I suggest is to look at books, of course. They can pick some exercises out from books that you like, and like put them in these sections. Or I also strongly recommend creating your own exercises, because it can be pretty important and useful aspect of like creativity for your playing. I mean, if you come up with exercises, then you can apply these exercises in your playing. Just because you came up with those, you won't sound like anyone else. Third thing, like really important to, I think, is to apply like some of the licks that you've been learning in songs as exercises. Like you just study them as standalone exercises, so that when you will play that song, you will nail the lick much more easily, rather than just playing it once per song and hoping it will be alright. Of course, if you focus on that technique like as an exercise, you will gain much more control over it, and you won't panic at all when you have to play it live or whatever. So once you've done these like selection of 4 or 5 exercises per section, then you should come into play with the 4-degree rule, as I call it, and which is basically assigning to each sections 4 tempos, 4 different metronome tempos that go from your like really comfortable zone, which is the 1st degree, up to your limit point when you can, where you can play like without losing precision, but still like really pushing yourself, almost to the point you get sloppy, but don't reach that point, you know. And that will be your fourth degree. And so like once you've, and of course the 2 degrees in the middle will be like mid tempos, mid difficulty, like really comfortable first degree, mid difficulty second degree, a bit more challenging third, and really your limit point fourth degree. Once you've done this, then you will proceed to play each of the licks in each section, first starting like with your comfortable tempo. And I strongly suggest to play like back-to-back licks. I mean, just don't play it once, but play like a couple times each time, because that's just the way I think you can really like see if you've nailed the lick or not. I mean, if you have nailed the lick, then you will be able to play it like 4 times back to back without messing up. But if you just play it once, then you don't really get if you're successful with the lick or not. So I'll give you a brief demonstration of what I mean with a 4 degree system rule, and taking an exercises from my own practice plan. This is taken from the alternate picking with hammer-on and pull-off section. And my starting point, which is the first degree, is 140 BPM at the moment. So I'll just set my metronome to that tempo. Of course, you should always practice with a metronome. I mean, I didn't say this before, but it's kind of obvious if you want to like playing time in your life. So yeah, that's it. I mean, 140 should sound like this. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, then you step it up, you go to the second degree, third degree, and then your fourth degree, which for me at the moment is 170 BPM. Yeah, that's my limit of sloppiness right now. Hopefully it will go up in a few weeks, but that's it. So 170, here we are. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. So yeah, pretty much you saw what I mean by playing back-to-back licks. You mean I played it twice, like the 2 times I played it 8 times back-to-back, and that's what I mean when I talk about playing back-to-back licks. So yeah, that's pretty much it really. When you finish with a section, you just go to the next one and you do it again. You do the 4 degrees again, then you go to the third section, do it again, and you should reach about an hour worth of playing. It depends on how many sections you've got, how many exercises, and how fast is tempo, of course, but you should get a nice amount of practice. And I can't stress enough how important it is to practice it every day, because that's the way, I mean, that's the way you improve. You just, by repetition, you just have to do it every day for a couple of days, a couple of weeks to see some results. I mean, I've been doing it for 2 months now, I think, and I saw some great results in my alternate picking prowess. So yeah, yeah, you just have to do it every day, and keep in mind that results will come eventually if you do it like with precision. Of course, you never have to push yourself to the limit where it gets all sloppy, because that won't be helpful. And another thing, you should really be careful not to harm yourself. I mean, the whole 4 degree point is to get your hand at the end of the 4th degree to feel tired and warm, and you know, when muscles need a bit of oxygen to work again, but it shouldn't get to the point where you hurt yourself, of course. So yeah, that's it. I mean, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you enjoyed the video and want to see other videos like this, just leave a thumbs up, comment if you want, and you'll find in the video description a couple of cool things, so check them out, such as like a book suggestion for exercises and a small PDF which is recapping the whole lesson. So if you don't want to like look at my face explains things, you can just download the PDF and read it there. And so yeah, I'm out. My name is Tom again, and I'll see you next time.